Hey, it's Andy, and today is Wednesday, July 21st. Happy Hump Day. You can get all my research at andrewbush.com. Follow me on Twitter at ABUSCH. Here are your top three reads. The first one comes from the FT. It's an interesting article talking about how PE firms have been happy to take on carbon-creating assets from public firms that are trying to divest themselves from these assets. It kind of rolls through why PE has not fully adapted to the new ESG vibe to some extent in investing, and I think it's a worthwhile read. To some extent, there's been a boom without question in this PE space, whether it's SPACs going to IPO, but I think there was a $500 billion worth of deals in the first two quarters this year, so it's been pretty extraordinary. Interesting read, just a weird place for these assets to end up when you think that companies are divesting of them, and they still are getting taken down from these private equity firms. So check that out. The next article that I thought was pretty interesting has to do with Square. Now, this is a technology firm, obviously, that has been targeted to small businesses. It's a wonderful service, but what they're doing is they're expanding their platform to include banking and really extend their footprint in the payment services. So I think they're creating banking and business checking and things like that. It's really everything around small to medium-sized firms, SMBs or SMEs, however you want to call them. But just again, it's really interesting from the standpoint of where they're at in the payment structure and then how they're trying to increase that footprint. So I thought that was really good. And the last one is a little bit odd. This kind of follows up maybe a little bit about Social Security. And I think I quoted incorrectly that the men in the United States live to an average of 69 years. And women to 71. I had that wrong by about 10 years on each one of those. But there's an article on NPR, and it's talking about how life expectancy has fallen for different groups in the United States, mainly driven, 74% of that fall has been driven by COVID. The other was drug overdoses and the opioid crisis. I think we had the largest number of opioid deaths last year at 93,000. But this article is interesting because it shows how far some of these have fallen as far as life expectancy. And the most dramatic one was for black males, who fell about 4 years, 3.7 years, I believe. But this is always really important to keep an eye on as far as how demographics work in the United States, and of course age and how long people normally live, because it tells you a lot about the economy and a lot about where the economy is going. So I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, check those articles out. Again, these are URLs that will be in the description below. You can read those. I think the FT article is free, so you can check that out as well. But that's it from me, Andy Bush, July 21st. Follow me on Twitter at ABUSCH and get my research at andrewbush.com. Have a great day.